So ladies and gentlemen, can we start clap at this corner of the room? Start clap. Let's bring it around, bring it around, bring it around. Put the hands up here, this way. If you don't know anything about me either, you're about to find out. Now, just a word of warning, my set is going to get slightly political, so if that's a problem for you, I suggest you grow the fuck up. So, anyone who's been following the news will know that the Nazis are back. Because apparently getting their teeth kicked in 70 years ago wasn't enough, and they decided, sure, we'll try it again, maybe without better luck this time. And inevitably, whenever footage emerges of a Nazi getting punched in the face comes up, there's always controversy around it. People saying, should you or should you have the right to punch someone who is a Nazi? And personally, when I see this footage, I am horribly offended. There's no weight behind those punches at all. You gotta make sure that motherfucker stays down. That's the fact. But the interesting thing then is that, knowing that they're going to get the shit quite deservedly kicked out of them for advertising the fact that they're Nazis, they're trying to downplay the whole Nazism and say, well, you know what, maybe we can't be real Nazis, but we'll pretend to be otherwise. And somehow they seem to be getting away with it. It's sort of like when Coke rebranded as New Coke. And everyone knows it still tastes like shit. It's a slightly different flavour of shit in a slightly shinier can. And I don't know, it's not like it's little brand budget butter. I can't believe it's not fascism. Somehow, against all probable reason, it seems to be working, because inevitably someone will say, well, how do you know they're really a Nazi? Maybe they didn't deserve to get punched. I'm just there going, do we live on the same planet? Did we study the same history in school? Because if I see a bunch of angry young men waving swastika flags and shouting Sieg Heil, I'm not taking my fucking chances. But and the thing is, it's not like they're simultaneously subtle about it, but also very overt about it. They're appealing to a very specific group. It's like a really fucked up One Direction comeback tour, except it's based on the twisted desire for a white ethno-state. And I'm not entirely sure what they think they're going to get out of this, aside from recruiting other shitty people to their cause. Saying that, I'm kind of wondering, do they think that some shiny business executive is going to come over and say, gee, I like the cut of these young, white, clean-shaven genocide advocates. Companies don't give a corporate sponsorship for racism. Carlsberg don't do race hate, but if they did... And the other thing is that, one thing I've noticed is as long as there are people being oppressed, there will be people doing the oppressing. As long as oppression continues to exist in any form, there will be people with some perverse desire to be a part of that. Not to do the oppressing, but to be oppressed. Almost as though they see people getting media coverage of their oppression and they think, well, I feel left out, I'll have a bit of that. And take it from me, as someone who has been the subject of oppression, it's not fucking worth it. But I like to go people watching. It's almost like a sort of weird David Attenborough program. You go and try and scope out these people, because you know exactly who they are. And I find coffee shops are their natural habitat, their native breeding ground. So you go in there, around the corner of your eye, you'll see someone. He's probably like typing away on his laptop. And then every so often he'd peer into his coffee. And then suddenly he'd slam his laptop down. And he'd strut over to the counter like an angry puffin, chest going out to here. And he would say, excuse me, sir? Excuse me, are you paying attention to me? And he'll wave his finger, and you'll know, because he's probably named Declan. And he's... Alternatively, Duncan is also a good one. He's probably wearing a sweater vest. And he'll say, excuse me, My soy mocha latte frappuccino has almond milk and pink marshmallows. I asked for regular milk and white marshmallows. This is an affront to my dignity and an infringement on my most basic human rights. And I'm just there thinking, all right, calm down, friend. The overworked, underpaid Costa employee got your order slightly wrong. It's not exactly the slave trade. But I did say a few minutes ago that I have been the subject of oppression. Not to be a bleeding heart about it, but I think it's worth mentioning I am gender non-binary. What that essentially means is I either fully identify as a man or as a woman. Instead, I inhabit this twisted, grey, genderless blob area in between. You know all this talk of gender-neutral bathrooms? That's me. I do that. I have my fingers in all of the gender pies. But, it's fine. I get to play such riveting games as every morning my favourite is which pair of trousers will not cause me to have an existential crisis today. And it's kind of a gamble on how people will respond when I tell them. But usually they're pretty reasonable, and I entertain them up until the point where they ask, do I have tentacles? But I figure that it's sort of a give and take. If I'm reasonable to them, they're reasonable to me. Again, up to a point. However, every so often you get some know-it-all so-and-so who will say, this gender binary nonsense, what's all that about? And I could be reasonable and try to educate them and say, there's scientific evidence to suggest that gender does not exist in a strict binary but on a spectrum. Instead, my preferred method is to use really weird metaphors. So I say, alright, picture this. You're in a hotel. You're in the restaurant of a hotel. It's 9 o'clock in the morning, you're slightly hungover. And you're with your friend James, because in this scenario you have a friend called James. And James is trying to pick out what cereal he wants for breakfast. And you say to him, "Oh, sorry James, looks like they don't have cornflakes. Guess you'll have to settle for Weetabix." And James quite reasonably turns and says, "Well, I don't really want Weetabix. I don't think Weetabix defines me as a person." I'm going to hate myself for that. And he says, maybe I don't want Weetabix. I don't have to have Weetabix at all. I can have another cereal. Or maybe I won't have cereal at all. And you, being a fucking arsehole, turn to James and say, "No, James, eat your cornflakes, James. You're a boy, James. Boys eat cornflakes." And with that, I bid you adieu. Ladies and gentlemen, more time for the Niko Winners. All right.